Hello, my dear friends, and welcome to another special moment on Rim2 Storytelling. And I'm so excited to sit down with you today, ready to share a story that's been buzzing in my mind. It's the story of Tập Cận Bình, the man who leads one of the biggest countries in the world, China. But this isn't just about power or politics. It's about a boy named Binh who faced tough times, worked hard, and never gave up. I remember when I first heard about him. It was a rainy afternoon, and I was flipping through a book in a tiny library, my fingers tracing the pages. I was struggling to learn English back then, messing up words like leader and dream, feeling like I'd never get it right. That book about China's history made me curious, and Bing's story stuck with me like a warm memory. Have you ever felt like giving up on something big? Maybe learning English, chasing a goal, or facing a challenge that seemed too heavy? I've been there. There was a day I bombed an English test so bad I wanted to toss my notebook out the window. I sat in my room, the rain tapping outside, thinking I wasn't good enough. But stories like Bing's remind me that tough times can teach us, push us to grow stronger. His life is like a long road, full of bumps, but leading somewhere incredible. I keep a little journal where I jot down quotes that inspire me, and one I wrote after reading about him was, "Every step counts, even the hard ones." Today, I want to walk you through his journey, not just to tell you about a leader, but to show you that you've got your own strength inside. You might be learning new words, trying to speak without fear, or dreaming of something big. Whatever it is, you're on your way. So grab a cozy spot, maybe a cup of tea, and let's dive into this story together. Let's feel the words. Let them spark something in you. And see how one person's life can light up our own paths. Let's go back to the beginning, when nobody knew who Tập Cận Bình was. Binh was born on June 15, 1953 in Beijing, China, into a family that wasn't ordinary. His father, Tập Trung Wang, was a big name in the Communist Party, a hero of the revolution. You'd think that meant an easy life, right? Nope. When Binh was just a boy, everything turned upside down. During China's Cultural Revolution in the 1960s, his father was arrested, and the family fell apart. I can picture young Binh maybe sitting in a quiet courtyard, hearing whispers about his dad, feeling lost. It reminds me of a time when my family hit a rough patch. Money was tight, and I'd lie awake, listening to the creak of our old house, wondering what was next. For Binh, things got tougher. At 15, he was sent to a remote village called Liangjiahe in Shaanxi province to work as a farmer. Imagine that, a city kid suddenly living in a cave house. No electricity, no comforts, just a straw mat and the cold wind. He had to shovel dirt, carry heavy buckets, and sleep on a hard bed under flickering lamplight. I think of my own struggles, like the nights I stayed up practicing English, my eyes burning, feeling like every new word was a mountain. Binh could have quit, gone back to Beijing, but he didn't. He worked with the farmers, ate their simple meals of corn and rice, and listened to their stories under the stars. Those days shaped him, taught him how to keep going, even when life felt unfair. I can almost see him there, his hands rough from work, his face lit by a small fire, writing in a notebook by candlelight. That image hits me hard. It's like the times I'd sit on my porch, practicing phrases like, "never give up," hoping they'd sink in. In Liangjiahe, Binh learned to fix tools, build houses, and earn the villagers' trust. They called him one of us, and that meant the world. He later said those years were tough but gave him a heart for people's struggles. I feel that too. Learning English wasn't just about words. It was about connecting with others, understanding their lives. Have you ever faced something that felt impossible but made you stronger? Maybe a test, a fight, a dream you held on to. For Bing, those cave house days were his first big lesson, a spark that kept burning even in the dark. Now let's talk about the part where Bing's strength really showed, the years of trying, failing, and trying again. After 7 years in Liangjiahe, he was ready to move forward, but the road wasn't easy. Back in Beijing, he wanted to join the Communist Party, but his family's past made it tough. His father's arrest left a shadow, and people doubted him. He applied to the party 10 times, and each time he heard no. I can almost feel his heart sink with every rejection. Like opening a letter and seeing bad news. I know that feeling. I once tried out for an English speech contest, practicing for weeks, my voice shaky but hopeful. When I didn't make it, I sat in my room, staring at my script, thinking I'd never be good enough to speak fluently. It hurt, but I kept practicing, just like Bing kept pushing. After those rejections, he finally got accepted into the party in 1974. And that was just the start. He went to Tsinghua University, studying engineering, but life stayed challenging. He didn't have connections or money, just determination. I think of the sound of his footsteps on campus, his bag heavy with books, his mind racing with ideas. It reminds me of my late-night study sessions, flipping through flashcards, whispering words like resilience and effort to myself, hoping they'd stick. After college, Bin didn't jump straight to power. He started small, working in rural areas, listening to people's problems, bad roads, poor schools, empty stomachs. He'd sit in dusty offices, his pen scratching notes, figuring out how to help. One story stands out. In a small county, he pushed for better markets so farmers could sell their crops. It wasn't glamorous, but it worked. People started trusting him, calling him Brother Bin. That trust built his path, step by step. I can relate. Learning English wasn't about one big win. It was small moments, like nailing a sentence or understanding a song. By the 1990s, Bin was climbing higher, working in bigger cities like Fujian and Zhejiang. He faced setbacks. Projects failed. Critics whispered. But he kept learning, adjusting, moving forward. I imagine him at a desk, late at night, a single lamp glowing, reading reports, planning his next move. It's like the times I'd rewrite an English essay, my hands tired, but my heart set on getting better. In 2007, he reached Shanghai, a huge city, and proved he could lead under pressure. That grit carried him to the top. By 2012, he was China's leader. Every no taught him something, just like every mistake I made in English pushed me closer to fluency. Have you ever kept going after a failure? Maybe a tough exam, a lost chance, a goal you refused to drop? Bin's story shows us that every stumble is a lesson, leading you somewhere bigger. Bin's rise didn't stop with small wins. It grew into something massive. In 2012, he became the leader of China, taking charge of the Communist Party and, a year later, the presidency. By 2018, rules changed so he could lead longer, steering a country of over 1 billion people. His story went global, meeting world leaders, signing deals, shaping trade and tech. I remember seeing his face on TV once, standing tall at a summit, and thinking, that's the guy from the cave house. It was like seeing a Harry Potter book go from a library shelf to a movie screen. But it's not just about power. Bin's work, like building roads, fighting poverty, pushing for tech, changed lots. He didn't become a leader overnight. He listened, planned, worked hard. I recall a time I helped a friend with English homework. Just sharing a few phrases, and her smile made me feel like I'd done something big. That's what leadership is, lifting others up. For us learning English, Bin's story gives us tools. Try reading a news article about him. Words like leader, vision, or effort pop up, and they're easy to learn. I started with short articles, sitting on my couch, the morning sun warm, underlining phrases like never give up. It helped my vocabulary grow, and it felt like an adventure. You can do it too. Pick a simple article, read a paragraph a day, maybe from a site like BBC or Reuters. Or try writing about your own goals, like I did. I'd sit at my desk, rain tapping outside, scribbling about wanting to speak fluently. It wasn't perfect, but it made me braver. Writing helps you think in English, makes words stick. Bing's life shows that small steps, reading a page, writing a line, build big dreams. I still keep a notebook for new words, flipping through it when I'm stuck, and it's like a map of my progress. His story also reminds us to stay strong. He faced doubts but kept going, just like we do when English feels hard. What if you tried something small this week? Maybe read a sentence about China, write a goal, or say, "I can do this," out loud. Share in the comments. Did it feel good? Bing's success isn't just his. It's a lesson that we can all grow, learn, and lead in our own way, no matter where we start. As we wrap up this incredible story, I feel a quiet warmth thinking about Bing's journey. It's not just about becoming a leader. It's about a boy who slept in a cave, faced rejection, and built a path to something huge, step by step. I can almost see him now, maybe sitting in a quiet room, a pen in hand, planning China's next move. That image sticks with me, like a photo in my mind. It says that big dreams start in small places. I've had my own small wins because of stories like his. I remember a day I nailed an English conversation, my voice steady for the first time. I was so nervous before, my hands sweaty, but afterward, I sat on my balcony, the breeze cool, feeling like I could do anything. Those moments, the scratch of a pen, the flip of a page, the sound of a new word, they shape us. Bing's life shows us that struggles aren't the end. They're teachers, pushing us to be better. I think of the times I wanted to quit English, staring at my books, wondering if I'd ever speak clearly. But stories like this kept me going, just like I hope they keep you going. You don't need to lead a country to be strong. You can start with a word, a sentence, a dream you refuse to let go. I keep a little box of notes from my English journey, scribbled phrases like "keep trying," reminders of how far I've come. What keeps you moving forward? Maybe a goal, a memory, a person who believed in you? I'd love to hear it in the comments. Share a time you felt proud, a moment you didn't give up. If this story sparked something in you, let's keep it alive together. Hit that subscribe button. Join our English Avenue family. We're here for more stories, more lessons, more dreams. I feel you listening, and it means so much to me. Imagine if we all took one tiny step today, maybe reading a news article, writing a goal, or saying, "I'm stronger than I think." Where could that take us? Bin didn't start with power. He started with heart, hard work, and a belief that he could make a difference. You've got that too. Thank you for being here, for sharing this moment with me. Keep shining, keep learning, and let's grow together tomorrow.